And hit record. All right, well, good morning, everybody. It is Monday, November 9th at 8 a.m. Here in the FEDC boardroom, the Energy for All Alaska Task Force meeting, one day in advance of our usual schedule to make sure that we're all well informed before there's a public hearing this evening on the Fort Wainwright draft environmental impact statement regarding their heat and power plant. We are going to start the meeting, though, without objection, with a brief program brief on an update on the FNSB CARES program, which has been in operation now for a couple of months. And so, Ms. Michelle, if you'd like, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jomo, and thank you, Lou. Again, I won't take up too much time this morning, but we do have some updates that we wanted to share with you guys. So like Jomo said, the Fairbanks North Star Borough CARES Act program has been providing COVID-19 funding relief for businesses, nonprofits, and healthcare organizations since September 8th. This has been split into 3 separate grants: the Business Interruption Grant, the Personal Protection Equipment Grant, and the Healthcare Impact Grant. This healthcare grant did close on September 30th, but their other 2 grants are still open and there is funding left. They are first come, first serve, and they are both closing November 30th. The Personal Protection Equipment Grant will reimburse up to $1,500 in costs for PPE and other measures to mitigate coronavirus, or the spread of coronavirus. These can be for your employees or your business patrons. Some examples are hand sanitizer, masks, cleaning supplies, physical barriers, or signage. As of this morning, the FNSB has paid out over $32,000 in this grant. The Business Interruption Grant, or BIG or BIG, provides relief and assistance to businesses and nonprofits. This grant will reimburse for eligible business expenses that have already incurred for such as utilities, payroll, rent and mortgage, or other ordinary business expenses. To be eligible, you will have to show either a 25% increase in expenses or a 25% decrease in revenues for a 3-month period between March 1st and November 30th. As of this morning, the borough has paid out over $1.2 million in this grant alone. And if any of you saw me talk at the chamber last week, you'll recognize this slide. So we were anticipating an increase for the BIG. The maximum last week that you could receive from this grant was $15,000. And we were told the assembly was going to change that last Thursday night to $30,000. However, at the last minute, they increased it to $40,000. So we apologize if you see any marketing that says $30,000. That is what we were under the impression it would be. But last minute, again, they added an extra 10 on there. So last Friday, starting November 6th, the application went live for up to $40K. So if you have not applied to this program yet, starting on Friday, you can now apply for up to $40,000. If you have already applied in the past, like Jomo said, we've been open for a couple of months, you can apply a second time. And that second time you can get up to the $25,000 or whatever sort of difference brings you up to the $40,000. You do have to submit a second application for that. And the same rules and regulations, I guess, still apply. You can just submit for additional expenses. And the expenses do have to have already been incurred and sort of qualify under the borough's eligibility requirements. So again,
that actually was going to be my question. If you had already applied under one of the lower tiers, funding potential tiers, would you be able to come back now essentially to backfill if there were expenses that you couldn't cover with the lower amount?
Yes, absolutely. You still have to do a second application and just include the documentation for those expenses. Again, as long as, like I said, they're eligible under the borough's classification of what is an eligible expense.
And regarding the other one, the personal protection grants. So of course, probably like a lot of people, I had to make a couple of trips to Home Depot this weekend. And of course, right when you walk in the entryway, they've got the person sitting there, they've got the sanitary wipes, they have gloves, they have masks. Those are the kind of expenses you're talking about?
Yes, absolutely. Anything that sort of helps mitigate the spread of coronavirus. And you do just have to submit the receipts and things for that. And prove that you purchased them.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. So again, we just wanted to come on and talk about that increase. So the maximum again was $15,000 and now you can get up to $40,000. All of this information can be found at fnsb.gov/cares. This is what the main web page looks like. It's also really important to check out the learn more down here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but for both of these grants, there is a learn more button, and that will take you to a page with additional information, but also a guidance document for each grant. It will go in depth. It will walk you through exactly what will need to be shown or what is asked for these applications and what documents you have to provide. So you cannot save the application partway through. You have to do it all in one sit down. So it's really important to sort of go through this, make sure you have all your ducks in a row and all your documents ready to sit down and apply. And that's all I have for you guys today, but we do have a business technical assistance line. If you have any questions about the grant, about the application process, or anywhere in between, we do have this phone number, 450-2453, or this email, cares@iialaska.com, that is specifically to answer your guys' questions about these grants. So again, I want to thank you for giving me these couple of minutes to talk about it. And if anyone has any questions, I can answer them.
Well, thank you for your couple of minutes of really good information. I do have just a couple of further questions. So you mentioned the amount of funds that had been expended in each one of those categories, but how much funding is remaining in either or both? And you say that the application process closes November 30th. So that would essentially give the borough an extra month. I want what the original authorization said, that all funds had to be expended by December 31st. So essentially giving the borough a month.
That month is going to be for sort of like reporting and other things. It was talked about at the assembly to sort of extend that, but that's something they were not interested in. So the November 30th is going to be the deadline. You know, today is the 9th, and so increasing this as well. If anybody is interested or thinking about it, please do get your applications in now. As opposed to how much money is left, the assembly has the power to sort of move the money in between the three grants, which is why I didn't announce a number for the healthcare impact grant. So it kind of depends on what, how many applications there are, how much money is requested. So we don't have an actual number to advertise of what is left at this point.
Okay. I see that we have two open mics, Mr. Newman and Rep. LeBon. Do either of you have questions?
No, I will turn my mic off.
Oh, sir. Good morning. And how about you, Mr. Newman?
No, thanks. It was.
Oh, okay.
I just had logged in. I hadn't muted yet.
Okay. Well, just know, again, as a reminder to everyone, we have the chat box open. We also, again, you have the ability to unmute yourself if you have any further comments. I didn't know if Ms. Smart or Mayor Welch might have any final comments on this section.
No, sir, I'm good. Thank you. Good job, Michelle.
I will maybe just add a comment. This does not impact the city of North Pole's funding. This is specifically for the FNSB. So if you are still located in North Pole and have a North Pole city business license, that can get you additional funds from their program. So this is not theirs at all.
Hello, Michelle. Yes, thank you, Jomo. We're pretty much in tandem agreement with the borough. So while BDO is doing the processing, and we'll go back to the folks who've already put in as well and say, now you could put in for some more, because it seems to be slow going trying to get this money handed out. So I'm glad to see that we're stepping up the game. I kind of had some inside advice that this was going to happen, so we'll be following the same suit. And it's a matter of me just going back, because that's the agreement I have with Mayor Ward, that the city of North Pole is in tandem. So that could mean if the borough is going from 15 to 40, we could go to 15 to 40. So that would mean the maximum you could actually get would be $80,000. And with the $2 point whatever million I have, and the big grant, that's business interruption, which is both for profit and nonprofit. That would be a good thing, I think. You know, we have something separate. We have a FIG. We have the Family Individual Grant. We've done a lot more of those grants, and those are up to $10,000 per family or individual. And I know that we've already passed 240,000 in that alone so far, not counting what came in for us to disperse this week. So we're doing pretty good with that, but we're nowhere near doing what we'd like to do with the big grant. So I'm glad to hear we're a step up the game. And stay tuned for further when I know we should be able to get that done with just a swoop of a pen. But we'll have to make some calls to the people that we've already given money to and tell them to put in for a second round here. Thanks.
Okay. Well, Mayor Welsh, Miss Michelle, Miss Smart, thank you again, everyone at both of the cities and the borough. I know you all have been working diligently to try to make this assistance available to the community, community members and businesses, and we really appreciate it. Okay, so again, everybody spread the word. There is still money left. And so if we want to, if folks around the community want to utilize those funds that have been made available by the feds and the state and now the community, please encourage everyone to go ahead and yeah, apply.